Good afternoon, it's Keto Cricket, aka Tammy, or vice versa. And today is Vlogust-Day 11. Today I want to talk about weight gain. So yesterday I told you guys I had a new low, and I told you that I would probably gain the next day, not necessarily because of what I ate, but just because I always gain over the weekends. And I thought I would kind of go a little bit more into detail about that. So I'm going to give you 11 reasons why the scale may not actually be an accurate assumption of your fat gain or loss over a day's time, especially. I'm going to get right into that way this video isn't super long. So to preface that, I was correct. I did actually weigh 2.5 pounds more today than I did yesterday. Probably the first reason that comes to mind is that I weigh at a different time. I don't weigh at the exact same time during the week versus on the weekend. And your body fluctuates naturally throughout the day. Usually you'll kind of gain more and more throughout the day just because your body, you start eating more and that sort of thing. So that's going to impact your weight. Another thing that can impact it is where you place your scale. If you move your scale around, it's not in the same spot, that can impact it. It can also impact it if you have your scale on carpet versus on a hard surface. So you do want to make sure that your scale is on a hard surface. Plus the scale itself. So if your scale breaks and you go out and buy a new scale, then that can also change the number on the scale. So that's already going to be two different things that can fluctuate. Another reason that my weight changed today, and it changes every weekend, is a reason I think most people don't think about very much, and it has a huge impact, and that is sleep. So on the weekends, I really don't get a lot of sleep because Friday I work, 15 to 16 hours on Friday, and I get home, and yesterday I woke up early, but anyway, I digress. So I get home, I leave or get up in the morning. Yesterday I got up at like 4:30 in the morning. I worked until a little after midnight this morning. So by the time I was in bed and asleep, it was probably 12:45. Then I woke up at 6 to my alarm, which I dutifully turned back off, but I didn't really ever fall back deep asleep after that. So that means I probably only got about 5 hours of sleep. And that doesn't include any times I would have woke up in the night, which on the weekends, I also wake up at night because I take all of that liquid to work with me. And so I always end up having to get up in the middle of the night and going to the bathroom. So realistically, I probably got 4.5 hours of sleep. And I will probably get about the same tonight. So during the weekend, I get in 2 nights the amount of sleep I normally get in 1 night during the week. And sleep has a huge impact on your body. It raises your stress levels when you don't sleep, and it doesn't give your body the chance to repair and restore, which is when your body typically will flush out the fat cells and kind of clean the system up and go, oh, you know what, you don't need this stuff anymore, so we're going to go ahead and dump it. Those things typically happen when you're sleeping. So if you don't sleep a lot, that's going to impact your weight. It will also impact your cravings, but I'll save that for another video. The other reason that sleep has an impact is the number 4 reason I wanted to talk about why your weight changes and fluctuates throughout the month, throughout the days, etc. And that has to do with that stress factor. When you are stressed, your body increases cortisol. When you have increased cortisol, you typically will also have a higher level of insulin. And we all know probably, if you're watching my channel, that insulin is the fat storing hormone. Your body was made to know when you're under stress so that it knows to preserve and to make sure that things are running smoothly so that you can escape if you need to escape, so that you have that extra stamina and extra oomph to run away from the Tyrannosaurus Rex. We don't face any Tyrannosaurus Rexes, so we don't really need that as much in this day and age. However, if you are constantly under stress, you're going to find that your body is going to hang on to whatever you put in your mouth. Food, liquid, whatever. If it goes in, your body's like, hey, we're under stress. We need to hoard. So that is going to make you gain weight. And it won't stick around forever. As you release that stress, usually you will find that your body weight will go down. My daughter's a great example of that, as she's a college student, so literally every midterm and every finals week, she gains weight. It doesn't matter what she eats because her body thinks that, you know, she's got to run away from a Tyrannosaurus Rex, and so it keeps all of the things she puts in her mouth, which is very frustrating for her. And I have to remind her every few weeks when then we go through this that, hey, it's not permanent, it's not going to last. The other thing that has to do with me personally and why I think that, why I know that I gain weight, and I gained 2.5 pounds, so I was 158.2 this morning, is the activity level that you had the day before. So if you sat a lot, like if you travel a lot, your body sometimes will retain water because of the pressure you have on your legs. And on the opposite side of that, if you're on your feet a lot of times you will retain water, kind of for that same reason. So if you're on your feet a whole bunch, then it's possible that you're retaining a bunch of water. And then again, these are all things that are gonna flush out, right? They're not permanent. They're probably not gonna even last a week. Usually these things will only affect you for a few days, and then you'll kind of see a whoosh. So that is something to take into account for, especially this time of year where everybody's got fairs and carnivals going on. Be aware that if you do cheat and you have a little treat or something and you suddenly gain a bunch of weight, a lot of it might just actually be the water weight from you standing all day and walking around the carnival. That has to do with another piece as well, which has to do with heat. If you are really, really hot, sometimes your body will hold on to water and expand. Heat expands. And so that can actually make you gain weight. It can actually influence you in a few different ways. It can actually cause a stressor on your body and release that cortisol. And then there's some, it may want to try to keep the water in, and so it may start retaining the water for that reason as well. Or it could be that you don't have enough sodium, and so your body is trying to absorb that. If you're sweating a lot, especially, make sure that you are getting in your sodium. I lost track of the number that I'm on, so I apologize. Talking about the carnival though, and talking about having a cheat day, that's another reason why you may have gained weight. That's probably a little bit something that we tend to think is that, oh, it's something I ate. And sometimes it is. But sometimes it's not that you ate 10 pounds worth of food. It's just if you are, especially if you're in a state of ketosis, and that's how your body's been running, and then all of a sudden you give it a bunch of carbs, your body's gonna go, oh, I have carbs again, and it's gonna switch over systems. When it makes that switch, you're going to end up gaining weight. And again, it's not weight that's gonna stay on forever. I mentioned last week I overate, and so I gained 4.5 pounds overnight. I lost it all. So then I lost it all plus some by the next day, The big, huge swings, that it's not necessarily that you gained all that weight. It's just your body is adjusting and acclimating to a different style of eating. So if you do have a cheat day, don't beat yourself up. Don't feel like you need to starve yourself. Just understand that your body is trying to adjust to how you're eating today. And if it's really different than how you ate yesterday, then your body is going to need a little time to figure that out. The actual water that you take in every day also has a huge impact on the weight. So if you normally drink 6 or 8 ounce glasses of liquid a day, water, coffee, etc., and then you have one day where, like me, you drink almost like 2 gallons of liquid in a day, either because you're hot or just because maybe you're trying to not eat, and so you're like, I'm just going to keep drinking water. You can still gain weight from that. So your body can sometimes be not able to flush out as much as you put in. And do be careful too. You can drink too much water. So just kind of be aware of that. Another reason that you may gain weight is simply having an allergy or an intolerance. So if when you eat you have a lot of bloating, especially in your upper stomach, you feel waves of heat a lot of times, those are usually red flags telling you that you have an intolerance to something that you ate. So if you have those symptoms, and sometimes we're okay with it, like I've told you guys, I actually have an allergy, a slight allergy to all nuts, even my pecans that I love. I know that that's the way it is. But I also know that I can eat pecans without a huge impact. Like, it doesn't bother me a bunch. And even almonds I can have a little bit and not have any issues with. But if I start eating almonds every day, I definitely have an intolerance. I will stop being able to lose weight, as well as have other side effects like the bloating and other things like that. So if you feel your tummy and you've just noticed for a week that your tummy is bloated, especially if it's in the upper part, right under your ribs, right after you eat, that's a huge sign that your body just instantly inflamed. You probably have a pretty good allergy or intolerance to whatever that food is, and that's going to make you gain weight. Inflammation, you're literally swelling up, right? So that's something to pay attention to. For us ladies, but not just us ladies, understand that weight fluctuates not only from the time of day that we talked about earlier, but also the time of month. I'm a big proponent of there are patterns. And if you have been on a weight loss journey for any length of time, you probably have realized that there are ups and downs, and they can vary greatly from day to day, week to week, and even month to month. When I was losing more consistently, up until March, until I'd lost the majority of my weight, I would have like a month that I lost a lot of weight, and then I would have a really slow month, and then I'd have a month I lost a lot of weight, and a slow month. I think your body just needs some time to adjust, and a lot of times people that start keto, you'll notice they start getting frustrated at that 6 to 8 week mark, because that tends to be a stall point. And what that is your body is now basically giving in, and it's like, oh, this is how we're gonna eat now from now on? Really? Forever? Okay. But now it needs to figure that out. And so there will be a period of time as your body adjusts to living in that manner more sustainably, that oftentimes people will have a quote-unquote stall. Keep at it. It eventually will start working again. You don't necessarily need to change anything. A lot of times your body just needs time to rest and repair. The same thing goes if you do start working out and exercising, your body needs time to adjust for that, which is another reason why we gain weight. If you do a lot of strength training, a lot of times you'll find the next day that you've put on weight. And so your muscles sometimes will swell up. Because you're tearing them and reusing them, and your body needs time to repair. So that can actually make the scale go up the next day. And again, it doesn't mean that you've gained fat. It just means that your body's going through some changes. So I think that goes through, I'm pretty sure I went through all 10 or 11 items that can actually make you gain weight or make you think that you gained weight. And you'll notice that all of these things I talked about are only temporary changes. Don't get so hung up on the scale feeling like that number is somehow going to define if you are successful or if you failed. That number on the scale is just that. It's a number on the scale, and it's pretty much just science about gravity, which I'm not going to go into in this video, but it isn't a huge indicator. Take pictures. If you feel good, if you pull your pants on and they feel a little looser and you get on that scale and you've gained a pound, don't stress about it. And even if your pants don't feel looser, think about what happened yesterday. And sometimes for me, knowing and understanding why that scale is going to change or why it's going to move up or down is huge. Get the sleep that you need, and know it's not permanent. We're not perfect. The scale's not going to go down every day, and that's okay. What we want to look at is the big picture. All right, I'm going to end this video with a fun fact about me that's also a riddle. It's not a great riddle, I'm going to admit that right now, but you guys can put in the comments below why the answer to the riddle. So the riddle and fact is this: I have 3 sisters and 1 brother, but I am the only child of my mother and father. How does that work? All right, guys, see you tomorrow.